Another thing that I want to mention is that we have to realize that our feelings are valid and that everything we feel and everything someone else feels is valid. When I was growing up in middle school, I had this friend who I now label as a bully, and I started my very depression type of state in 8th grade just because there was a lot going on in my life and yada yada. That's really when my depression started, in middle school. And I mean, it got pretty bad because, especially when you're a middle schooler, you're a high schooler, you don't know how to cope with this stuff. Anyways, I would go to this friend with my sadness and be like, I feel really depressed. I don't understand why I'm feeling this way. And eventually she would tell me that, I'm acting like this for attention, what I'm feeling isn't right, I'm stupid, all this stuff. I shouldn't be acting like that, depressed and all these things, because there's nothing wrong with my life. And that really got to me, and for years I really thought that I was actually doing that stuff for attention, because it's I didn't know anything about mental illness. Nobody ever taught me anything about mental illness like that. That's what happens when you're a middle schooler, high schooler, and even a kid, and you never were taught about mental illness or what is happening with you and why you're feeling this way, and the fact that you can feel this way. It's really sad that I felt that way for so long, because I'm like, wow, there's people that are dying in the world and have cancer and all these things, but here I am depressed for no reason, and that there wasn't a reason for me to be like that. And that's not true at all. Anyone can be depressed. You can be rich, have all the money in the world, everything you ever wanted, anything, everything, and still be depressed, because it's not about what you have. It's not about your atmosphere. I mean, it's a little bit about that stuff, but for the most part, it's just your brain. It's just the chemicals in your brain are unbalanced, making you feel this way. And it doesn't matter the situation, whether it's good or bad. Your feelings are valid. You can feel bad even in a good situation. That's just another thing of being human, like I said. If you're feeling some type of way for whatever reason, don't ever let someone tell you that it's not okay to feel the way that you feel. Or don't let anyone tell you that it's not okay to feel bad, because it doesn't matter what their opinion is or what they think how life is. Like I said, it's all within your brain. It's all a side effect of, a mental illness that is really difficult and complex to understand and fix and help. And none of that is your fault. It really is just your brain. There's always going to be people in the world that hear you and see you and will want to help you when you're feeling down or feeling alone, and want to help you through whatever it is you're going through or whatever is going on in your brain, in your mind. The human brain is so complex. It impacts everything that happens in our life, that happens to us in our life, whether that be a disability, a mental illness, a relationship, trauma, just your everyday to-day life. All of that affects your mentality, even if it's something small, like going to the park or anything. There's such a complex thing going on in your mind that you really need to take care of. Everything passes through your brain, and that's what controls you. That's what controls how you live your life and how you set yourself up for life and how you walk through life and how you're able to just survive. And there's so much going on. It's so important to take care of that, and we really need to start emphasizing the importance of taking care of it, because I mean, now that we have social media and the internet's deeper than it was back in the day and everything, it's starting to be talked about more and more. But it's when my parents were growing up, they didn't have all these resources about mental illness. They didn't know that they needed to work on their trauma in order to actually be able to go through their life. They just lived, they just did it. And that's because there's so much more study and science that needs to be done about the mind and the brain and psychology of everything that's not being done, because there's so much else going on in the world. But it's one of the most important things that needs to be talked about because I mean our minds control the whole world. If it wasn't for our minds, we wouldn't have anything. So, and everything you do in your life affects your mental health. And that's everything down to what you eat, how much you sleep, what you do on your day-to-day, what you watch, social media, all these things, how much you exercise. All these things affect your mental health, and I feel like in life they don't put enough emphasis on that. They talk about, exercise for your physical health, eat right for your physical health. No, all these things are good for your mental health. Your mental health comes first, and then your physical health, because without your mental health, you are just a body and you don't have your mind. And for me, it's a little easier for me to deal with my mental illnesses because I'm almost at having my bachelor's in psychology, and I've studied psychology, as long as my brain could comprehend what mental illness was. I've studied psychology, so it's a little bit easier for me to deal with my own mental illnesses, but it's not like that for everyone. That's very unfortunate. People don't have that same education that I had or have, and it's kind of just, sucks because not everybody can think, oh, okay, I'm in this depressed state, what can I do to help myself? It's more of like a end of the world kind of situation in their head. That's why I plan to use this channel and the rest of my social media to educate people, especially children and teens, on the importance of taking care of your mental health. But if you're someone that struggles with like suicidal thoughts or depression or just, any mental illness, if you're struggling, feel like you're struggling in life and it's hard for you to move through it, it's cliche to say, but you're not alone. I promise you're not alone. There are so many people in this world who it's hard for them because, look, life really is hard, and you pretty much didn't get a choice in the beginning. You were forced to be born, and now you have to live this life, and you're not alone. There are so many people out there that want to help you, and if you have access to this video, then you have access to me or suicide hotlines or all these things. There are people that want you to keep living, people that understand your pain and will help you figure out ways to get through that or figure out ways to live with it. You never have to feel like you're doing anything alone. There are so many people in the world, especially now we have this huge, gigantic internet. Yes, there's horrible people on the internet, but there are really great ones too that will be here to listen to you. I just want to say that loneliness you're feeling, it's not you. It's not gonna control you. Don't let it control you. It's just a side effect of a chemical imbalance that you can fix, or you could try to fix, or you could try to live with, but you don't have to do it alone. There are so many people in the world that want to help you get through this. I know that sometimes it feels like all these things are coming together and just too much, and the world's imploding and so many things, but I promise it does get better. I was such a depressed, sad person at once upon a time in my life because some people have treated me so bad. Like, I was in a really horrible, abusive relationship, and I felt like I wanted to take my own life. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, I can't even imagine that I would actually feel that way. I still, have these thoughts, but I never actually feel like I want to die or want to take my own life. And when people told me back in the past, like, oh, it gets better, I thought, like, that's just so cliche for you to say, but no, it really does. And I want to stress that it does get better. And I don't know if this video helped anyone or really did anything at all, but I really appreciate anyone that watched it. This year has been, a literal nightmare, something I would never imagine I could go through. And it's hard for me because I feel like no one around me, not no one, but like most of the people around me wouldn't understand how I feel losing someone so close to you to suicide. And then given the circumstances of my friendship with this person, we were actually not really on great terms when she passed away, and at one point in my life she was just the most important person to me. So it's really been devastating and a horrible thing to live with, and I don't wish this pain on anyone else. And from this day forward, well, not this day forward, from the day that she passed forward, I realized that I need to start living for her. I need to start living for everyone that wasn't able to make it through this life, you know, the way that we all can or could. And I just want to live my very best for her. And I really just appreciate my life and want to live my very best life every day for her, because, you know, that's what you do when someone very close to you passes away like that. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. I'm gonna be doing a lot of, you know, mental illness awareness videos, I guess you could say, and like different stuff like that, and I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to me. Yeah, and just want to say rest in peace to my very beautiful friend. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about her. And if you have your friends and family, hold them close to you. Always tell them how much you love them. And if you're someone that's struggling with suicidal thoughts or depression, just know that I know that your life isn't anyone else's, and you might be in a really horrible pain, but the pain that you leave behind, I promise you, is worse than the pain that you're living with. I know it's selfish to say, but you have to try to fight through that pain for the people that love you, because I promise people love you, and when you leave, their lives will be changed forever. It will never be the same. They will always have a deeper pain than what you were feeling when you were alive. They will have that pain in their hearts for the rest of it, as long as they're alive. And yeah, so much love. Thank you for watching.